Welcome to the world of science fiction, where extraordinary tales come to life. Enjoy the journey. The processed air in Merchant's Folly spaceport tasted like rust and old machinery. Michael Torres shifted his worn duffel bag and immediately regretted winning that damned lottery ticket. Around him, purple-skinned Vendari hustled past in expensive suits, their silver hair crackling with microelectrical currents as they closed deals through neural implants. Every conversation sounded like an auction. Mister from Earth! A small purple blur slammed into his legs. Michael looked down to find a girl, maybe 8 years old, with silver pigtails sticking out at impossible angles. She clutched a threadbare plush octopus and stared up at him with eyes the color of heated metal. "You make legs, right? Real legs?" She bounced on her toes, making her pigtails bounce too. Michael blinked. What? Legs?" She grabbed his hand with surprising strength for someone who barely reached his waist. "You're Michael Torres from Detroit. You make robot legs for people who don't have legs. I looked you up." "Kid, how did you even—" "My name's Nola, not Kid, and this is Mr. Wiggles." She thrust the octopus at his face. "He says hello. Now come on, my sister needs a husband." Michael tried to pull his hand free, but the girl's grip could have anchored a spacecraft. "Wait, what? I think there's been a mistake." "No mistake. You're perfect." Nola dragged him toward the spaceport exit with determination that defied physics. "My sister Leia needs someone to marry her, and you're single. I checked, no ring. And you make legs, and she doesn't have legs, so it's basically perfect." "That's not how marriage works." "Sure it is. You find someone who needs something, they find someone who has something, and then you share stuff, like sandwiches. Marriage is basically sandwiches, but forever." Michael found himself being pulled into the chaos of Merchant's Folly's main district. The city sprawled in floating tiers, each platform dedicated to different commerce levels. The ground level, where only the desperate or broke walked, smelled of hot metal and burnt wiring from the anti-gravity generators, keeping the wealthy literally above the poor. "My sister's super pretty," Nola continued, weaving between vendor stalls selling everything from bootleg Earth coffee to questionable alien pets. "Even without legs. Actually, especially without legs, because now she can't run away when people are boring. That's why she needs someone interesting." "Are you interesting?" "I fix prosthetics. That's about as interesting as watching paint dry." "Paint drying is interesting. It changes color and gets all wrinkly. You just have to pay attention." She stopped suddenly, causing Michael to stumble. "Oh, and Leia has lots of money, like so much money. She could buy this whole street, probably. I'm not good at math yet." "Look, Nola, we're here." Michael looked up at a building that seemed to be held together by electromagnetic fields and spite. Unlike the gleaming towers above, this structure had character, rust stains that looked like abstract art, windows that didn't quite match, and a door that opened with an actual manual handle instead of bioscanners. "Your rich sister works here?" "She says authentic buildings have more character. Also, the rent is cheap because everyone thinks it might fall down." Nola yanked the door open. "But it hasn't fallen down in 6 whole months, so it's probably fine." The interior defied the exterior completely. Clean lines, functional furniture, and the hum of serious technology. Through a glass partition, Michael could see a workshop filled with circuit boards and half-assembled devices. "Leia! Leia!" Nola's voice could have shattered the glass. "I found you a husband." A hover chair glided out from the workshop, and Michael's prepared speech about mistaken identity died in his throat. Leia Valar was nothing like her sister's overselling had prepared him for. Her purple skin had a subtle luminescence that shifted when she moved, like oil on water. Her silver hair was pulled back in a messy bun, revealing features that were sharp rather than soft, interesting rather than conventionally beautiful. She wore work clothes, a tank top smeared with servo fluid and cargo pants pinned at the knees where her legs ended. But it was her expression that caught him, exhausted patience mixed with barely suppressed amusement. "Nola, we've discussed this. You cannot kidnap Earth tourists and declare them my husband." "I didn't kidnap him. I aggressively guided him. There's a difference." Nola pulled Michael forward. "Look, he's not even screaming or anything. That's better than the last one." "There was a last one?" Michael asked. "He was a cargo pilot. Very boring. He talked about manifests for 20 minutes. Nola shuddered. "Leia needs someone who fixes things, not someone who just moves things. Moving things is easy. Fixing things takes skill." Leia's hover chair hummed closer. This near, Michael could see the tech was custom: military-grade stabilizers, neural interface ports, and what looked like defensive shielding. This wasn't assistive technology. It was a throne disguised as a wheelchair. "I apologize for my sister, Mr. Torres, Michael Torres, and it's fine. I've had weirder welcomes." He paused. "Actually, no. This is definitely the weirdest." Leia laughed, a sharp sound like breaking glass. "At least you're honest. Most people pretend being dragged here by an 8-year-old is perfectly normal. Nothing about this seems normal. Welcome to Merchant's Folly." She gestured to a chair that looked like it was made from repurposed spaceship parts. "Can I offer you something? Coffee? Tea? An escape route before Nola shows you our family album?" "I already got the album." Nola produced a holographic projector from nowhere. "Look, this is Leia when she was little. She had legs then, and this is her racing hover bikes. That's how she lost her legs, but we don't talk about that except I just did, oops. And this is her accepting the Innovators Award and—" "Nola." Leia's voice carried a warning. "What? He should know you're successful. Some people think wheelchairs mean you just sit around being sad, but Leia only sits around being sad on Tuesdays. Today is Saturday, so she's sitting around being angry at suppliers." "I'm not angry at suppliers." "You called them incompetent space barnacles this morning." That was accurate, not angry. Michael found himself relaxing despite the absurdity. The sisters' bickering felt genuine, warm even. Nola climbed onto the arm of his chair, Mr. Wiggles tucked under one arm. "So you really make legs?" Leia asked, and there was something careful in her tone. "Prosthetics? Yeah, been doing it for about 10 years. He gestured to her chair. "That's custom work. Military medical?" Her eyebrows rose. "You can tell?" "The neural interface is Gen 7 military grade, but someone's modified it with civilian haptic feedback. Probably because military interfaces are efficient but feel like ice water in your spine." "Ice water exactly." She tilted her head, studying him. "You've worked with military tech." "I was a field medic. Before." The words came out flat, and he hoped she wouldn't push. She didn't. Instead, she turned to Nola. "Don't you have school?" "School is for people who don't have important matchmaking duties." "School is for 8-year-olds who want to grow up smart enough to run their own matchmaking empire. Go." Nola groaned dramatically, sliding off the chair. "Fine, but I'm leaving Mr. Wiggles here as a spy. He'll report back if you're mean to Michael." She positioned the plush octopus on a shelf, facing them. "Mr. Wiggles sees all." After she left, through the door like a tiny purple tornado, silence settled between them. "She means well," Leia said finally. "She's persistent. That's the Vendari way. We don't do anything halfway, even apparently kidnapping Earth tourists." She maneuvered her chair back toward the workshop. "I really am sorry about this. Can I at least offer you real coffee? I have actual Earth beans, not the synthetic stuff." Michael should have left, should have made excuses and found his hotel and pretended this never happened. Instead, he heard himself say, "Real coffee sounds good." The workshop was a techie's dream. Circuit boards lined one wall sorted by function. Tools hung in precise order. 3 different projects sat in various stages of completion. One looked like a communication device. Another might have been a weapon. And the third was definitely illegal, whatever it was. "You're not just running a tech company," Michael observed. "I'm running a perfectly legitimate salvage and refurbishment operation." She pulled out a coffee maker that looked older than both of them combined. "The fact that some of my salvage comes from people who don't know they've been salvaged from is purely coincidental. Corporate espionage. Creative redistribution of resources." She measured beans with practiced precision. "The corporations here would sell their mothers for profit. I just make sure some of that profit gets redirected. Like Robin Hood. Like Robin Hood if he was a legless purple woman with a very annoying little sister and a workshop that smells like burnt circuits." The coffee maker gurgled to life. "Not exactly the stuff of legends." "Depends on the legend." She looked at him sharply, but before she could respond, the door chimed. The man who entered made Michael's soldier instincts scream danger. He was tall, pale blue-skinned, not Vendari, with the kind of perfect features that suggested genetic modification or narcissistic parents. His suit probably cost more than Michael had made in 5 years, but it was his eyes that made Michael's hand twitch toward a weapon he wasn't carrying. Flat, dead eyes that looked at Leia like she was inventory. "Leia, lovely as always." His voice sounded like oil felt, slick and wrong. "Zarek." Leia's entire posture changed, tension singing through her frame. "We're closed." "You're never closed to me." He moved further into the workshop, and Michael noticed how Leia's hand drifted toward the underside of her chair's armrest. A weapon there, probably. "I came to make you an offer. Not interested." "You haven't heard it yet." Zarek's gaze landed on Michael, dismissive. "Though I see you're already entertaining. How quaint." "Michael was just leaving," Leia said quickly. "No," Michael said, standing. "I wasn't." Zarek's perfect features twisted into something that might have been a smile on a face capable of human emotion. "The Earth tourist. How adorable. Did Leia tell you she's coming to work for me?" "I'm not." "Oh, but you are." He pulled out a data pad projecting numbers that made Michael's eyes water. "That's what I'm offering for your little operation. More than generous." I said no. "You said no before you realized what saying no meant." He moved closer to her chair and Michael stepped between them instinctively. Zarek laughed. "Oh, this is precious. The Earthman thinks he's protecting you." "I think you should leave," Michael said quietly. "Or what? You'll glare me to death? Patch me up just so you can knock me down again?" Zarek stepped around him, focusing on Leia. "I collect beautiful broken things, Leia, and you're the most beautiful broken thing on this entire worthless planet." Leia's servo-fluid-stained hands clenched. "Get out." 1 week. You have 1 week to reconsider. After that, I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. He paused at the door. "And I'll be adding your sister to my collection. Matching sets are so much more valuable." The door closed behind him with a soft click that sounded like a threat. Leia's breath came in sharp gasps. Michael knelt beside her chair, not touching, just present. "Hey, he's gone. He doesn't make idle threats." Her voice was steady, but her hands shook. "Zarek collects people, usually willing people who need his money, but sometimes he won't touch you or Nola." She laughed bitterly. "You don't even know us." "No," Michael agreed, "but I know men like him, and I know he looked at you like property, not a person." He stood. "Besides, Nola went to a lot of trouble to kidnap me. Least I can do is stick around for dinner." "You don't have to." "You mentioned Earth coffee. Real Earth coffee. I haven't had that in months." He moved to the coffee maker, pouring 2 cups with steady hands. "Plus, I want to see if Mr. Wiggles really is spying on us." Leia stared at him for a long moment, then took the offered cup. "You're either very kind or very stupid." "Bit of both, probably." He raised his cup. "To aggressive little sisters and terrible first impressions. To Earth tourists who don't run away screaming." They drank, and the coffee tasted like possibilities. The spare bedroom smelled like lavender and motor oil, a combination that shouldn't have worked but somehow did. Michael dropped his duffel bag on the narrow bed while Nola bounced around him like an overexcited electron. "This was my playroom, but now it's your room, but I can still play here if you don't mind, and look." She yanked open the closet door. "I made space for your clothes. It's only a little space because you wear the same shirt a lot, but that's okay." "Nola, let him breathe." Leia maneuvered her chair through the doorway, carrying folded towels that looked hand-embroidered. "The bathroom's down the hall. Hot water takes 30 seconds to kick in, and the lock sticks, so you have to jiggle it." "I can fix that," Michael said automatically. "You don't have to fix everything." Says the woman who runs a tech repair company. "That's different. I fix things for money. You fix things like it's a compulsion." Nola tugged on his sleeve. "Can you fix Mr. Wiggles? His left eye is loose and it makes him look suspicious." "Suspicious? Like he's winking at everyone. It's inappropriate for an octopus." Michael took the plush toy, examining the loose button eye. "I'll need a needle and thread." "Leia has a whole sewing kit. She pretends she doesn't sew, but she fixed my school uniform when I ripped it climbing the detention center fence." "You climbed the—" Michael looked at Leia. "Detention center." "She was breaking someone out," Leia said tiredly. "A kid who got locked up for stealing food." "He was hungry," Nola protested. "And the detention center has terrible food. It's all nutrient paste and sadness." That first night, they ate dinner around a table that wobbled until Michael shoved a folded napkin under one leg. Nola had made what she called Earth food, something that might have been spaghetti if spaghetti was purple and slightly luminescent. "It glows," Michael observed. "Everything on Merchant's Folly glows a little," Nola said through a mouthful. "It's the radiation from the 3 moons. Don't worry, it's mostly harmless." "Mostly?" "Well, sometimes people grow extra fingers, but only if they eat a lot of glowing food." She held up her hands. "See? Still just 10 fingers. So we're fine." Leia snorted. "There's no radiation, Michael. The food has bioluminescent proteins. Completely safe, just visually disturbing." "Like eating a nightlight," he agreed, taking another bite. It tasted better than it looked, spicy and rich, with an aftertaste like cinnamon. After dinner, Nola insisted on teaching him proper Vendari. "This," she said seriously, pointing at the salt shaker, "is Zephix. It means white crystal poison. That can't be right." "It totally is. And this," she held up her fork, "is stabby food holder." "Nola," Leia warned from where she was working on her tablet. "What? I'm educating him about our culture. You're teaching him nonsense words. They're not nonsense. They're very sense. Maximum sense." Michael caught Leia trying not to smile. "What does maximum sense translate to in Vendari?" "Gorfi Mela," Nola said proudly. "It means I am a beautiful genius." "It means I am a stubborn mudfish," Leia corrected. "Same thing." The week fell into a routine. Michael walked Nola to school each morning, her small purple hand in his as she chattered about everything from the aerodynamics of paper airplanes to why Mr. Wiggles needed a girlfriend. "He's lonely. Octopuses can die of loneliness. I read it." At the school gates, she'd always say the same thing. "You'll be here when I come back, right? I'll be here. Promise?" "Promise." The third morning, one of the other parents, a tall Vendari woman with silver hair so bright it hurt to look at, approached him. "You're the Earthman living with the Valar sisters." It wasn't a question, so Michael didn't answer. "Zara Kane has been asking about you," she continued. About your background, your qualifications. Let him ask. She studied him with eyes that shifted from silver to gold. You don't know what he is, what he collects. I know enough. No, you don't. She leaned closer and her breath smelled like copper and fear. He has a gallery on the 17th tier, climate-controlled rooms with one-way glass. His collection sits there, pretty and broken, unable to leave because he owns their debts, their families, their very breath. Her voice dropped. He wants Leia because she's brilliant and damaged. He wants Nola because innocence is the rarest collectible. He won't get them. Brave words from a tourist with no weapons, no allies, no understanding of how this world works. Ma'am, Michael said quietly, I appreciate the warning, but I've made a promise to a little girl, and I intend to keep it. The woman stared at him for a long moment, then laughed, sharp and bitter. Then, you're either a fool or something more. I hope for their sake it's the latter. That afternoon, Michael was in Leia's workshop, helping her sort circuit boards when she asked, What happened to you? What do you mean? You move like you're expecting an attack. You check exits when you enter a room. You sleep so lightly that Nola dropping a toy wakes you. She set down her soldering iron. That's not normal civilian behavior. Neither is building illegal tech in your spare time. Deflection. Interesting. She turned her chair to face him fully. I looked you up. Michael Torres, certified prosthetist from Detroit. Clean record, no criminal history, won a lottery ticket for cultural exchange. Everything perfectly normal except... Except? Your history only goes back 6 years. Before that, you don't exist. Michael focused on sorting resistors by resistance rating. Maybe I had a different name. Maybe you did. She was quiet for a moment. I won't push. Everyone on Merchant's Folly is running from something, but Nola's getting attached. She already calls you her Earth Dad at school. She what? Yesterday, she told her teacher you were married to me and that we were very happy and that you were going to buy her a real pony. Leia's mouth quirked. The teacher congratulated me. I didn't correct her. Why not? Because for the first time since our parents died, Nola feels safe. She sleeps through the night. She doesn't check the locks 12 times before bed. Leia's voice softened. She smiles like she means it. Before Michael could respond, his primitive danger sense, honed by years of combat, screamed. He grabbed Leia's chair and pulled her backward just as the workshop window exploded. 3 figures in black tactical gear rappelled through. Michael's body moved on autopilot, grabbed the soldering iron, drive it into the first attacker's shoulder joint where the armor was weak. Use his falling body as a shield against the second attacker's stun baton. Roll, grab the scattered circuit boards, throw them like shuriken into the third attacker's visor. The whole fight took maybe 8 seconds. Leia stared at him, then at the groaning attackers. You're not a prosthetist. I am now. He checked the attackers' pockets, finding Zarek's corporate logo on their comm units. They were supposed to grab you while Nola was at school. How did you... Military Tactics 101. Strike when the target is isolated and their support is dispersed. He started zip-tying the attacker's hands. Zarek's impatient. Michael. Her voice was very quiet. Who are you? He met her eyes. Someone who keeps promises. The school called an hour later. Michael answered, already moving before the administrator finished talking. Mr. Torres? There's been an incident. Nola is fine, but... He was out the door, running. The school was 8 blocks away. He made it in 3 minutes. 6 men in expensive suits lay unconscious in the playground. Nola stood in the middle of them, clutching Mr. Wiggles and a bent metal lunch tray. Her knuckles were bloody. They said they were taking me to see Leia, she said, her voice tiny. But they lied. Liars smell different from truth-tellers. You taught me that. Michael knelt beside her, checking her for injuries. A bruised cheek, scraped knees, but otherwise unhurt. You fought them? I hit the first one with my lunch tray, right in the gentleman vegetables like you showed me. Then I screamed really loud and Mrs. Carter came out and she knows space karate and Nola's brave facade cracked. I was scared. Being scared is okay. You were brave anyway. They wanted to put me in a collection, like I'm a toy. Her bottom lip trembled. I'm not a toy. I'm a person. A small person, but still a person. Michael picked her up and she buried her face in his shoulder. You're the bravest person I know. Braver than Leia? Don't tell her I said that. That earned him a watery giggle. Back at the house, Leia was reinforcing the windows with military-grade shielding she'd acquired from somewhere. She took one look at Nola's bruised face and went very, very still. I'm okay, Nola said quickly. Michael taught me to hit people in their gentleman vegetables. They're what? They're no-no zone. They're private parts. I get it. Leia's hands shook as she checked Nola over. Baby, I'm so sorry. This is my fault. If I just agreed to work for him... No, Nola pulled away. We don't give up. That's what Mama said before she died. Velars don't give up. We get creative. Nola? Besides, Michael's here now. He'll protect us. She looked at him with absolute faith. Right? Michael met Leia's eyes over Nola's head. Right. That night, after Nola was asleep, with Mr. Wiggles and 3 different nightlights, Michael found Leia in the workshop, staring at nothing. She could have been killed, she said, but she wasn't. This time, she rubbed her face. Zarek won't stop. He never does. He decided he wants us and he'll keep coming until I stop him. She laughed bitterly. You? One Earth tourist against Zarek Kane's empire? Michael sat on the workbench close enough that their knees almost touched. Want to know a secret? Another one? He pulled out his wallet, fishing out an old, creased photo. Him in military dress uniform, chest covered in medals, standing next to an admiral. The caption read, Commander Michael Torres, hero of the siege of Titan Station. Leia's breath caught. Your Iron Surgeon, the one who held the medical bay for 72 hours against an entire enemy battalion. I was. Now I'm just a guy who fixes prosthetics and apparently teaches 8-year-olds to fight dirty. Why didn't you tell me? Because Michael Torres, war hero, is dead, has been for 6 years. I came here to be nobody, to disappear. He took the photo back. But then a little purple girl dragged me to meet her sister, and suddenly disappearing didn't seem so important. Leia's hand found his. We're not your responsibility. No, but you're my choice. He squeezed gently. Besides, Nola already told her entire class I'm her dad. Can't disappoint the kids. Michael, I've been alone for 6 years, Leia. Running from what I was, what I did, but watching you and Nola, seeing how you take care of each other, how you refuse to break despite everything. He turned her hand over, tracing the calluses from her work. Maybe I'm tired of running. She was quiet for so long he thought she might ask him to leave. Then, the racing accident wasn't an accident. Zarek sabotaged my hoverbike because I refused his first offer. I can't prove it, but I know. We'll prove it. How? By being smarter than he thinks we are. Michael stood, pulling her up with him, chair and all. Tomorrow we go on a fence. Tonight, we just be. Be what? A family. A weird, broken, temporary family, but still. From the doorway came a small voice. Not temporary. They turned to find Nola in her pajamas, dragging Mr. Wiggles by one tentacle. How long have you been standing there? Leia asked. Long enough to know Michael's staying forever. She padded over and climbed into Leia's lap. Right? You're staying forever? Michael looked at Leia's face, hopeful and terrified in equal measure, at Nola's trusting eyes, at the workshop full of broken things waiting to be fixed. "Yeah, kiddo, I'm staying." Nola pumped her fist. "Yes, Mr. Wiggles, we did it. Operation Make Michael Stay is complete." "Operation what now?" "Nothing. Night-night." She scrambled down and ran back to bed, leaving them laughing in her wake. But in the morning, Leia was gone. Only a note remained. Zarek called. "He has the antidote to the poison he gave Nola yesterday. I'm trading myself for it. Don't come. L." Michael stared at the note while Nola read it over his shoulder. "I'm not poison," she said, confused. "I feel fine." "It's a lie. He's forcing her hand." Michael crumpled the note. "Get dressed. We're getting your sister back." "Are we going to war?" "No, we're going to end one." Nola hugged Mr. Wiggles tighter. "Good. Wars are stupid anyway." Michael stood outside Zarek's compound, a converted shipping warehouse on the 17th tier that hummed with enough electricity to power half the district. Nola clutched his hand, Mr. Wiggles tucked under her other arm. "You should wait here," he said for the third time. "No way. Leia needs us. Both of us." She squeezed his fingers. "Besides, Mr. Wiggles has a plan." "The octopus has a plan. He's very strategic. He beat me at chess once." "Nola, I'm not staying behind. Heroes don't leave family behind, and we're family now, right?" Michael looked down at her determined purple face. "Yeah, kid. We're family." The main entrance stood open, an invitation and a threat. Inside, industrial lighting cast harsh shadows across rows of climate-controlled display cases. Each one contained a person. A Martian woman with prosthetic wings that would never fly again. A gene-modded human whose enhanced muscles had been surgically severed. All of them conscious, sitting or standing in their glass prisons, beautiful and broken and owned. "This is sick," Nola whispered. "Don't look." "I have to look. How else will I remember who to free?" At the warehouse's center, Zarek had constructed a throne room of sorts. Expensive furniture arranged around a raised platform where Leia sat trapped in an energy cage, her hoverchair just out of reach. "Michael!" She pressed against the crackling barrier. "You shouldn't have come." "Really? After all Nola's hard work getting us together?" He kept his voice light, but his hand drifted to his pocket. "Besides, I promised her we'd have family dinner tonight." Zarek emerged from behind the platform, flanked by 24 mercenaries in tactical gear. His pale blue skin practically glowed with excitement. "Commander Torres, or should I say, the Iron Surgeon. I have to admit, I didn't see that coming." He gestured to his men. 24 trained killers versus one washed-up medic and a child. Even you can't like those odds. "I've had worse." "Have you?" "Because from what I've researched in the last hour, you were always backed by the full might of the Alliance military." Zarek pulled out a tablet projecting images. "The siege of Titan Station. You had a full medical corps. The liberation of New Mumbai. An entire battalion. Even your famous last stand at Proxima Colony, you had 40 Marines." "Your point?" "My point is, you're alone now. No backup, no authority. Just Michael Torres, fugitive from his own legend." Nola stepped forward. "He's not alone. He has us." Zarek laughed, a sound like breaking bells. "Oh, this is adorable. The little purple girl thinks she matters." "Everyone matters," Michael said quietly, pulling out his old communicator. The device looked like a relic, held together with tape and determination. "That's something people like you never understand." "People like me?" Zarek's perfect features twisted. "You mean successful, powerful, collectors of beautiful things?" "I mean parasites." Michael started entering a code, his fingers steady. "You don't create, you acquire. You don't protect, you possess. You're everything I spent 6 years fighting against." "Fighting?" You've been hiding, running from your great reputation while innocents suffered." "You're right." The communicator chirped, connection established. "I have been hiding, but you know what?" He raised the device to his mouth. "Admiral Stone, it's Torres." Zarek's smirk faltered. "You're bluffing. The Alliance thinks you're dead." "Isaiah, you there?" Michael continued, ignoring him. "Yeah, I know, surprise. Listen, I've got a situation. Sending coordinates." Static crackled from the communicator, then a gravelly voice. "Michael, holy shit, is this real?" "Real as it gets. I need backup. Full deployment." "Michael, you've been dead for 6 years. I can't just—" "Isaiah." Michael's voice carried the weight of every favor owed, every life saved, every impossible mission completed. "Please." Silence. Then, "ETA 3 minutes. Try not to die before we get there." The warehouse's lights flickered as massive shadows passed overhead. The windows rattled. Then the air itself seemed to vibrate as a voice boomed from every speaker in the building. "This is Admiral Isaiah Stone of the Galactic Alliance Fleet. This facility is surrounded. Stand down or face immediate termination." Zarek's mercenaries looked at each other, then at the ceiling, then at their employer. One by one, they lowered their weapons. "No." Zarek pulled out a pistol, aiming it at Leia. "I don't care who you are. She's mine. They're both mine. I collected them fair and—" He stopped mid-sentence, staring at Michael's face, at the cold fury there, at the absolute certainty of violence barely held in check. "Wait." Zarek lowered the gun slowly, his eyes widening. "The mask. You always wore a mask in the vids, but the jaw, the way you stand." He fumbled for his tablet, pulling up an image, a propaganda poster from the war. A masked figure in medical white standing atop a mountain of enemy dead, surgical scalpel in one hand, pistol in the other. The caption read, "The Iron Surgeon, Death's Medical Professional." "That's you. You're really him. The one who killed 100 chrysalid warriors with nothing but medical equipment when they took that colony's children." 117, Michael corrected. Zarek's tablet shook in his hands. I had this poster in my room. You were my hero. The way you turned healing tools into weapons, the surgical precision of your violence." He looked around wildly. "I modeled everything after you, taking the broken, collecting them, preserving them. You got it backwards." Michael stepped closer. "I broke the enemy to protect the innocent. You break the innocent to feed your ego. But I'm preserving beauty, keeping the damaged perfect forever. You're a serial killer with a god complex and a trust fund." Nola piped up. "And you smell like old cheese." Even in his panic, Zarek shot her an offended look. "I do not—" "You really do," Leia added from her cage. "Like cheese that's been left in a hot shuttle for a week." "Enough!" Zarek spun in a circle, seeing Alliance soldiers rappelling through the skylights, setting up positions. His perfect composure cracked like cheap paint. "This isn't right. I had a plan. I had leverage." "You had victims," Michael said. "Now you have choices. Surrender or what? You'll kill me. The great Iron Surgeon will add one more body to his mountain." Michael pulled something from his pocket. Not a weapon. A scalpel, old and worn, the handle wrapped in leather stained with things best forgotten. "You know what they never put in the propaganda?" He tested the blade's edge with his thumb. "I was a medic first, killed second, and what I learned is that there's something worse than death for people like you." "Worse than death?" "Irrelevance." Michael nodded to the Alliance soldiers. "You can die here, forgotten in minutes, or you can surrender, stand trial, and spend decades in a cell while everyone forgets you ever existed. Your collection will be freed. Your fortune will be distributed to your victims. Your name will be a footnote in a court record that no one will ever read." Zarek's face cycled through colors, blue to purple to almost white. You can't. I'm important. I matter. You mattered for about 30 seconds when I thought you were a threat to my family. Now? Michael shrugged. Now you're just paperwork. That broke him. Zarek dropped to his knees, the gun clattering away. Please, arrest me. Put me in maximum security. Just make sure people know what I did. No. What? Standard isolation. No interviews, no documentaries. No one will even remember to hate you. Zarek started sobbing, ugly, hysterical sobs that echoed through the warehouse. 2 Alliance soldiers hauled him away, still crying about his legacy, his collection, his importance. Michael deactivated the energy cage, and Leia practically fell into his arms. You absolute idiot, she whispered against his chest. You beautiful, reckless, absolute idiot. Nice to see you too. She pulled back to look at him. The Iron Surgeon? Really? Really? The man who once performed surgery on himself while fighting off borders? That was exaggerated. I only removed 1 bullet. While fighting. Light fighting. Mostly just aggressive negotiation. Nola bounced between them. This is so cool. My dad is a legendary space hero. Wait until show and tell. Can I bring the scalpel? No, Michael and Leia said simultaneously. Admiral Stone approached, older and grayer than Michael remembered, but still built like a battleship. Michael, good to see you breathing. Isaiah, we need to talk about your status. You're technically AWOL, presumed dead, and there's paperwork. Later. Michael kept one arm around Leia, the other hand on Nola's shoulder. Right now, I need to help about 40 people get out of glass boxes. The Iron Surgeon, still saving people. Stone clapped his shoulder. Some things never change. As the Alliance forces began freeing Zarek's collection, Nola tugged on Michael's sleeve. You could go back, be a hero again. Michael knelt to her level. What do you think I am now? Our hero, but that's different. It's better. He ruffled her silver hair. Heroes save the world. Family saves each other. 3 weeks later, Michael's workshop, he'd taken over half of Leia's space, hummed with activity. The prosthetic legs were almost complete, not just functional, but beautiful. Vendari engineering combined with human stubbornness and a little girl's insistence on style. Are those purple racing stripes? Leia asked from where she watched. Nola's idea. Of course. Also, Nola added, not looking up from where she was helping by organizing screws by personality. They have hidden compartments for snacks. They what? Snacks. You never know when you'll need emergency chocolate. Leia laughed. That's the most ridiculous. Practical, Michael corrected. She's right. Emergency chocolate is important. You're both impossible. Yeah, but we're your impossible. The fitting took hours. Neural connections had to be calibrated, weight distribution adjusted, synthetic muscles properly tensioned. Nola provided commentary throughout. Make the left one slightly faster so she walks in circles. Add springs for jumping. Ooh, knife feet for enemies. She's not going to have knife feet, Michael said patiently. Disappointing. Finally, everything clicked. Leia took her first step in 5 years, then another. Then she was running, laughing, crying, spinning in circles while Nola cheered and Mr. Wiggles somehow played a victory song from his voice box. Michael didn't remember installing that. How do they feel? Michael asked. Like freedom. Leia grabbed his face and kissed him, deep and desperate and full of promise. Eebu! Gross! My eyes! Nola covered her face dramatically. Mr. Wiggles is traumatized. They broke apart, laughing. We should probably talk about, Michael started. The wedding's next week, Leia interrupted. What? Nola's been planning it for weeks. Haven't you, Nola? The little girl beamed. Yep. Purple Flowers, Earth Food, and Admiral Stone is officiating. He owes you favors, right? How did you... I'm very resourceful. The ceremony was perfect chaos. Half the Alliance fleet showed up, mixing with locals who'd heard about the Earthman who'd taken down Zarek Kane. Nola wore a dress with so many ruffles she looked like a purple cloud. Mr. Wiggles served as ring bearer. The rings were tied to his tentacles. When it came time for vows, Michael went off script. Laya, I came here to hide from the universe. Instead, a very determined 8-year-old decided I needed a family. She was right. You gave me something to protect that wasn't about duty or orders, but about choice. My choice. And I choose you, broken parts and all. Leia's response, Michael, you fixed more than my legs. You fixed the part of me that had given up on anything beyond survival. Also, you make really good pancakes, and Nola says that's important. It is important, Nola shouted from the front row. Admiral Stone shook his head. Do you, Michael, take this woman? Yes. I haven't finished. Yes to all of it. Whatever you're going to say, yes. Same, Leia added. That's not how ceremonies... Just kiss already, Nola screamed. So they did, while purple flower petals rained down, courtesy of Nola's enthusiastic throwing. Mr. Wiggles played the wedding march in what might have been the right key, and the Alliance fleet spelled out congratulations in orbit. Later, at the reception, Nola gave a speech. When I was little... You're still little, someone called out. When I was littler, she corrected, I thought broken things stayed broken. But then I met Michael, and he taught me that everything can be fixed if you're stubborn enough. So I got stubborn about fixing my sister's sad face. And it worked. She smiles all the time now. It's kind of weird, but also nice. Anyway, welcome to the family, Dad. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. Even Admiral Stone wiped his face and blamed the space dust. As the party wound down, Michael found himself on the balcony with his new family. Leia actually stood, beside him, her new legs gleaming in the light of 3 moons. Nola had fallen asleep against his shoulder. Mr. Wiggles clutched tight. So, Leia said softly, still want that quiet vacation? This is better. Chaos, attempted kidnapping, and a forced wedding. Family, he corrected. Weird, purple, absolutely insane family. From somewhere in her sleep, Nola mumbled, told you, plans always work. Above them, written in the stars by playful Alliance pilots, the Iron Surgeon's new mission, domestic bliss. Michael laughed. After 6 years of running from his past, he'd finally found something worth stopping for. Not glory or redemption, but a brilliant woman with prosthetic legs, a chaos goblin of a little sister, and a plush octopus that might actually be sentient. I love you, he told Leia. I know. Nola told me you would on day 1. She did? She said, he looks at you like Mr. Wiggles looks at snacks, confused but interested. That's actually pretty accurate. They stood there watching the 3 moons chase each other across the sky, while inside their daughter, because that's what Nola was now, papers filed and everything, drooled slightly on his shoulder and occasionally mumbled about adding rockets to things. Perfect? No. Family? Absolutely. Next time, Leia said, we're taking a real vacation. No more lotteries? No more anything involving Nola's matchmaking. From his shoulder came a sleepy voice. I heard that. Already planning your anniversary surprise. It involves dolphins. Space dolphins. Michael and Leia exchanged looks. We're doomed, he said. Completely, she agreed. Worth it? Every second. And somewhere in the night, Mr. Wiggles's voice box mysteriously activated. Mission accomplished. New mission parameters. Grandchildren. Nola. Her giggle was worth everything. 15 years old and already a legend at Merchant's Folly Academy. That's me, Nola Vaylor Torres, professional chaos coordinator and part-time big sister to 4 absolute menaces. The new kid laughed in my face, his perfect Earth teeth gleaming. You expect me to believe your dad is the Iron Surgeon, and your mom runs the biggest prosthetics empire in 3 systems? Right. And I suppose that ratty stuffed octopus is secretly a war hero too? Mr. Wiggles, now more patches than original fabric, sat on my desk judging him with his one remaining button eye. The other had been sacrificed to my youngest brother's teething phase. First of all, I said, feeding my sandwich to the classroom's pet void crawler, illegally imported naturally, Mr. Wiggles has 3 medals of valor. Second, I never lie about family stories. I embellish, enhance, and occasionally add explosions, but never lie. Sure, Purple Girl, your 8-year-old self totally orchestrated your parents' marriage. Jake Fletcher, that was New Kid's name, leaned back in his chair with the kind of confidence that only came from never having your elaborate schemes actually work. And I suppose Admiral Stone really officiated. Admiral Stone sends birthday cards to all 4 of my siblings. Last year, he gave the twins actual decommissioned laser rifles. Mom was furious. Dad just taught them proper trigger discipline. The twins, right. What are their names again? Plasma and Neutron? Marcus and Melody, you Earth-normative walrus. They're 6 and already better at engineering than you'll ever be. Yesterday, they built a functional jetpack out of kitchen appliances. No one's that smart at 6. You've never met Torres Valar kids. We're genetically predisposed to chaos and mechanically gifted enough to achieve it. I pulled up my tablet, showing him a family photo from last week. See? That's Dad with baby Iris. She's 2 and already dismantling everything. That's Mom testing her new legs, version 1.2.5, with built-in hover capabilities. The twins are the purple blurs setting something on fire. What about the older kid? I looked at where he pointed. My brother Sam, the only one who got Dad's human coloring instead of Mom's purple. That's Sam. He wants to be a doctor, an actual doctor, not a combat medic turned prosthetist turned accidental war hero. Jake studied the photo with an intensity that made my neck prickle. Big family. Dad always wanted kids. Turns out the Iron Surgeon is really just a guy who makes excellent pancakes and tells terrible dad jokes. I shrugged. Last week he actually said, "Hi hungry, I'm Dad" to the ambassador of Mars during a formal dinner. Your dad sounds like a dork? Yeah, but he's our dork. I flicked to another photo. Dad teaching the twins to solder while Mom worked on her latest prototype. Sam reading medical journals. Baby Iris somehow on top of the refrigerator. This is what legends really look like. Messy, chaotic, covered in baby drool and burn marks from twins who think flamethrowers are appropriate birthday gifts. For each other? For the neighbor's cat. Mr. Whiskers needed a nemesis, and Admiral Fluffington was available. Jake laughed. A real laugh this time, not his practiced Earth Boy smirk. You really did it, didn't you? You really set them up when you were 8. Greatest achievement of my life. Well, that and the time I accidentally started a revolution on Cedar Prime, but that's a different story. I leaned forward, studying him. Why do you care so much? Most new kids just nod and pretend to believe me. Maybe I like stories about families. His voice went quiet, almost sad. About people who choose each other. Everyone has a family somewhere. Not everyone. He stood abruptly. Thanks for the story, Purple Girl. See you tomorrow. As he walked away, I noticed 3 things. His walk was too smooth, too practiced, like Dad's when he was pretending to be just a civilian. He'd known which kid to ask about in the photo before I'd identified them all. When he'd laughed, really laughed, his eyes had flashed purple for just a second. I pulled out my ancient communicator, the one Dad had given me for emergencies, the same model he'd used to call Admiral Stone all those years ago. Hey Dad? Yeah, it's me. Quick question. Did you and Mom ever have any kids before me? No? You sure? Okay. Other question. Is it genetically possible for a human to have purple eyes that they can turn on and off? Dad's silence stretched too long. "Nola, why are you asking?" "Curiosity. You know me." "I do know you. That's what worries me. Don't do anything." "Impulsive? Me? Never. Gotta go." Mrs. Carter is glaring at me. "Love you." I hung up and looked at Mr. Wiggles. "What do you think, old friend? Is our new Earth boy really from Earth?" Mr. Wiggles, of course, said nothing, but his remaining button eye seemed to wink. Tomorrow, I'd invite Jake Fletcher home for dinner. Mom would scan him with the security system she pretended we didn't know about. Dad would do that thing where he casually mentioned his military history while sharpening medical instruments. The twins would probably set him on fire at least once. And maybe, just maybe, we'd find out why a boy with color-changing eyes knew exactly which kid in our family photo to ask about, why he walked like a soldier, why he looked at our family like he was seeing ghosts. "One more adventure, Mr. Wiggles," I whispered. "One more mystery to solve." Outside, Merchant's Folly hummed with its usual chaos, deals being made, hearts being broken, lives being rebuilt. But in Classroom 47B, Nola Vaylor Torres was planning something. And everyone knew what happened when I planned something. It worked.